we all ready? Is everyone ready? We all ready here? Okay. Okay. Folks ready? Get started. Tomorrow, Chair Pro Tem Paloma, Aguirre, and I are asking the board to end. Yep. Okay, I'll start over. I'll start again. Feel good? Ready to start? Okay. Volume. Is that better? Okay, great. Tomorrow, Chair Pro Tem Paloma Aguirre and I are asking the board to end the use of San Diego County firearm facilities as a training ground for President Trump's mass deportation agenda. Our local public facilities should serve our residents, not support federal immigration operations that disregard and trample upon due process and the rule of law. President Trump has chosen to pour billions and billions of dollars into a massive deportation force while slashing healthcare and other essential services that our families depend upon. We've seen masked agents refusing to identify themselves, imposters exploiting that secrecy, families afraid to report crimes, violent encounters and kidnappings across the country and in our community. And despite all the talk about targeting dangerous criminals, ICE's own data shows that 3 out of 4 people arrested in our region during this crackdown had no criminal convictions. Our community is a home, not a target. If the Trump administration wants to spend billions on this flawed deportation agenda, they can use their own federal resources to carry it out. There are other firing ranges in this region. San Diego County does not have to provide ours. We in San Diego County have spent years drawing a clear line between our local government and federal civil immigration enforcement. We passed a clear ordinance. We launched Know Your Rights efforts. And when ICE tried to block our public health inspectors, we took ICE to court and we won. Providing a training ground for Trump's deportation force is a slap in the face of our residents and undermines our clear commitment to rule of law and civil rights here in San Diego County. We cannot protect due process and community trust on one hand and provide a county training ground for Trump's deportation goons on the other. When people are afraid to report crimes or ask the government for help, all of us are less safe. Tomorrow, we are asking our board colleagues to end the use of county facilities to train ICE deportation agents. Our county facilities and resources must be used to make San Diegans safer, not support this reckless and irresponsible deportation operation that targets our community. So I'd now like to introduce my colleague, Chair Pro Tem Paloma Aguirre, to talk further about this policy. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody that's standing behind me for taking time out of your busy mornings to join us and join our voices and uplift our community's voices who don't have one. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge all of the elected leaders that are present here today behind me. I'd like to acknowledge Deputy Mayor of Chula Vista, Cesar Fernandez, Council Member of Chula Vista, Michael Enzunza, Council Member of National City, Jose Rodriguez, Council Member of City of Escondido, Consuelo Martinez, Council Member of Imperial Beach, Matthew Leyva Gonzalez, President of the Governing Board of Southwestern College, Chris Galicia Brown, Member of the Governing Board of Southwestern College, Nicolas Segura, and Member of the South Bay Union School District Board of Trustees, Jose Lopez Equino. The county has one job. Yes, let's hear it for our electeds who are here representing their voices of their individual communities. We have a very vast and robust coalition and our community behind us. This is not happening in a vacuum. And I'll just say that the county has one job above all others, is to keep people safe. But right now, families across San Diego County are living in fear. I see it every day in the South Bay. Parents afraid to drop their kids off at school, afraid to go to the grocery store, afraid to walk to work. Simple moments that should feel safe now feel like a risk. And while all of this is happening, ICE and CBP have been training at county firing ranges on our taxpayers' property. So today, Chair Lawson-Remer and I are bringing forward a board letter to end the agreements that let them do that. Because the federal government cannot terrorize our families all week and rent our firing range on the weekend. Not on this county, not anymore. The harm is real. ICE removed more than 16,000 people from our region in just over a year. Since this administration took office, federal immigration agents have shot people at least 41 times and killed 11. Renee Good, shame, shame. Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, Joan Sebastian Duran Guerrero. These were real people with real families that love them, that are gone forever. The people in San Diego County paid for those training facilities. They belong to us. They should reflect our values, period. And how did federal officials respond to us? With more fear. They say if we end these agreements, the border will shut down, lanes will close, lines will stretch for hours. Think about that. They want you to believe that a shooting range agreement worth about $170,000 a year is the only thing keeping our borders open in the Western Hemisphere. That is ridiculous, and they know it. CBP's budget is billions of dollars. Billions of dollars go to CBP. And the same federal government pulled thousands of CBP officers off the border and out of our ports to run raids all across America. So hear me clearly. Longer lines at San Isidro would not be a consequence of this board's actions. They would be a choice made by the Trump administration and paid for by us here in San Diego. First, they made our immigrant neighbors afraid. Now they want every commuter, every business owner, every family that crosses that border to be afraid too. Same playbook, new target. And that's why we say not here. San Diego County will not help any agency that creates fear in our communities. Aquí, no. We stand with our families, we stand with our neighborhoods, our county, our values. Now I'm gonna share my remarks in Spanish. Muy buenos días, gracias a todos por estar aquí, gracias a la supervisora Lawson-Remer, a todos los líderes comunitarios que se tomaron el tiempo de su día en estar aquí, que están detrás de mí, y a todos los oficiales electos que mencioné anteriormente. El condado tiene un trabajo por encima de todos los demás: mantener a las personas seguras. Pero en este momento las familias de todo el condado de San Diego están viviendo en terror. Lo veo todos los días en el sur de San Diego. Padres con miedo de dejar a sus hijos en la escuela, con miedo de ir al supermercado, con miedo de caminar al trabajo. Momentos sencillos que deberían sentirse seguros, ahora sienten miedo y sienten que están en un riesgo constante. Y mientras esto sucede, ICE y CBP siguen entrenando en las instalaciones de tiro del condado, un espacio pagado con los impuestos de la comunidad. Por eso hoy la supervisora Lawson-Remer y yo estamos presentando una carta a la Junta para la Junta de Supervisores para poner fin a los acuerdos que les permiten hacerlo. Porque el gobierno federal no puede aterrorizar a nuestras familias toda la semana y alquilar nuestro polígono de tiro el fin de semana. No en este condado, ya no más. El daño es real. ICE deportó a más de 16,000 personas en nuestra región en poco más de un año. Desde que esta administración tomó posesión, los agentes federales de inmigración le han disparado a personas al menos 41 veces y han matado al menos a 11 personas. Entre ellas, Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, Joan Sebastián Durán Guerrero. Estas eran personas reales, personas amadas, personas con seres queridos que se han ido por siempre. La gente de San Diego pagó por esas instalaciones de entrenamiento, nos pertenecen a nosotros, a la comunidad, y deberían reflejar nuestros valores. Punto. ¿Y cómo nos respondieron los funcionarios federales? Con más miedo. Dicen que si terminamos con estos acuerdos, la frontera la cerrarán. Se cerrarán carriles. Las filas se extenderán por horas. Cualquier persona como yo, que es transfronteriza, que cruza la frontera todos los días, todas las semanas, en el fin de semana, sabemos que los tiempos de espera, los tiempos largos de espera en la frontera no son nuevos. Simplemente este fin de semana tuvimos tiempos de espera de hasta 8 horas. Es ridículo que el gobierno federal esté amenazando con cerrar las líneas en la frontera diciendo que nosotros lo vamos a causar. Ellos son los que lo están causando y lo han estado causando desde los últimos 10 años. El presupuesto de CBP es de miles de millones de dólares y este mismo gobierno federal retiró a miles de oficiales de CBP de nuestra frontera, de nuestros puertos de entrada, para ir a conducir redadas en vecindarios en todo el país. Por lo tanto, escúchenme claramente, las filas largas en San Isidro no serán consecuencia de las acciones que esta Junta de Supervisores tomará esta semana. Esa es una decisión de la administración de Trump, porque primero hicieron que nuestros vecinos inmigrantes tuvieran miedo. Ahora quieren que cada persona que viaja al trabajo, cada dueño de negocio, cada familia que cruza esta frontera también tengan miedo. Por esta razón, la misma estrategia, nuevo objetivo. Y por eso decimos, aquí no. El condado de San Diego no ayudará a ninguna agencia que genere miedo en nuestras comunidades. Estamos con nuestras familias, estamos con nuestros vecinos, nuestro condado, nuestros valores. Muchas gracias. Now I'd like to introduce Maritza. She is a Barrio Logan community member and she will be joined by her mom.
Good afternoon. My name is Maritza. I'm 20 years old and I'm a community member of Barrio Logan. I lived through family separation 2 times. Once at the age of 6, ICE agents pulled over my family on our way to school and took both my parents, leaving me and my sister alone on the street. And again last October of 2025 when ICE agents took my dad and detained him for 2 months. I was terrified to see how many people were losing their lives at the hands of ICE agents, not knowing if my dad would be next. After my first encounter with ICE, I was afraid of going to school and I'd give my parents a hard time at drop off, not wanting them to leave. With constant anxiety, wondering if they made it home or to work. I'm 20 years old today and my pain and concern for my parents is the same. Having panic attacks and nightmares of ICE separating me from my parents and my dad being back in the detention center. I live in fear when my parents go out. Whenever they leave the house, I hug them like it's the last time because I just never know what could happen anymore. I think it's cruel and unfair for them to be living with the fear day by day. And seeing my parents afraid of going out, whether it's a 2-minute drive to the grocery store to buy necessities, or going to work or church on Sundays. My parents, along with every human being, should be able to live their daily lives without that constant feeling of not making it home. I know some family members that are so afraid of ICE that they completely stop going out and they send their kids to buy groceries. That's no life. Constant fear and stress with the possibility of being separated from their loved ones. We all have the right to live a peaceful life. We are not criminals. We're families living in fear, not knowing if our loved ones will make it home when trying to go to work, to church, and taking their kids to school. I'm tired of seeing innocent lives being taken away and seeing families having to pay the price. No training for ICE in San Diego. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Our next speaker is Brinkley Johnson, a San Diego-based social justice advocate and community leader who serves as the founding manager and navigator of the Pope Francis Center at Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. My name is Brinkley, and I grew up in San Diego County and have faithfully worked with immigrant families for the last 8 years. I am horrified to learn that ICE and CBP have been conducting firearms training, that is, doing target practice, at a county-owned facility. Every day at the Pope Francis Center, we minister to immigrant families who are living with experiences of family separation because of ICE detention and deportation. These are the people who the agents are training to encounter. Fathers, sisters, uncles, and cousins who are hard workers, who are kind and patient, who are church-going and generous. These immigrant families live with the fear not only of deportation, but that an encounter with this system could result in extreme bodily harm or death. While the federal government may say that increasing the number of ICE agents will make our communities safer, I can attest that the exact opposite is true. Elders, parents, and children feel increasingly unsafe, terrified by the thought that their loved ones could be murdered because these agents, who are enforcing civil violations, carry firearms. The threat of violence by these federal agents is real. As you have heard, it is embodied, it is pervasive, and it causes severe psychological harm. This in the country that we call the land of the free. The County of San Diego, which welcomes and embraces our diverse community, should absolutely eliminate this and any other agreements with DHS that perpetuate this state-sanctioned violence against our neighbors. May we continue to find the strength and vision to build communities of care, hope, and healing where everyone can be safe and can belong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to introduce Escondido City Councilwoman Consuelo Martinez.
Good morning, buenos dias. So a little quick intro about why I felt it was important for me to come today from Escondido. You see, my journey to become a public elected official began well over 20 years ago. Escondido has too often been ground zero for anti-immigrant policies and actions that have caused fear and harm in our immigrant communities. Most recently, I and my colleagues learned, to our surprise, that our city-owned firing range has been used by ICE for years. That should force every local government to ask a fundamental question. Are our public resources being used in ways that reflect our values and protect the people that we serve? As local leaders and policymakers, we have a responsibility to make sure that publicly funded facilities and assets are not contributing to an immigration enforcement system that is inflicting fear and cruelty on our communities. Today, I commend our county supervisors for taking action, and I will be participating in that meeting tomorrow and sharing that information with our residents. We may not be able to control federal immigration policy, but we absolutely have a say in how our local public resources are used. We have both the power and the responsibility to protect our residents. This is how we stop the harm and madness inflicted on them. So I just want to say again, thank you to all for being here. Thank you to our supervisors for bringing this board item forward. And to all of us present and listening, please continue to speak up. So I agree, aquí no, not here, not on our watch.
Aquí no, aquí no, aquí no, aquí no, Aquino! 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 Well, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you to my colleague for your partnership on this. Thank you to everyone who took the time to stand in solidarity on this really critical issue today. And we are now available for questions. Supervisor Aguirre, would you like to come up? And if there's, please go ahead. My understanding is the loss of revenue is in the neighborhood of about $150,000 a year. We have a $9.1 billion budget at this county. We're not in the business of sacrificing the lives and safety and well-being of our residents in San Diego County in exchange for blood money from the federal government. Supervisor Aguirre, do you want to? If you want to take this, we can. But I think maybe we should just stick to questions relevant to this news conference today, and then we can take that at the end. Okay, thank you. Any other questions around this particular topic? Yes, Deborah. Yeah. Hey, Alex. Yes. The leases are under the authority of the board because they go through our department called DGS, essentially, as opposed to through the sheriff's department. People have the authority, brother. Other questions?
We have absolutely no power or control over what the federal administration decides to do as far as opening or closing lanes. As I mentioned in my remarks, we have been experiencing and suffering border wait time delays for the last 10 years. But at the end of the day, this is about what we have control over, and what we have control over our county facilities that are funded by San Diego County taxpayers. And what they have told us is they completely reject ICE and CBP's practices because they are instilling fear and terror into our communities, especially in my district, where you may remember the raid that happened in South Park at Buena Forchetta. We had a parent dragged away in front of its child at one of our Chula Vista schools. We see this on a daily basis, as you heard from Maritza, where people can't even enjoy daily activities like going grocery shopping or putting gas in their car or going to work, where we've actually seen people get dragged away on their way to work. So this is about centering the values that we represent at the county in what we do have the ability to control, which is our firing ranges. Yes.
I mean, let's just be straight. We have been in the crosshairs of the Trump administration since day one because our Board of Supervisors from the very beginning has said we are going to protect San Diegans. We're going to protect the health and safety of our residents. We're going to stand up for people's civil rights. We're going to stand up for due process. And these are not values the Trump administration shares. So as long as we continue fighting for people's rights, for civil liberties, for due process, for healthcare, we are going to be targeted by the Trump administration. And I am very proud we have a board of supervisors that's ready to fight and has been fighting from day one.
And I'll just add that the Trump administration hasn't been legally successful, right? Attorney General Bonta has filed 82 lawsuits against the Trump administration and has an 83% success rate. So we're going to continue fighting them legally. We're going to continue fighting them morally. And this is literally what we're doing with our action into consideration tomorrow.
Okay, seeing no further questions. Okay, one last question. My understanding was in approximately 2017, but we can get you that exact date. Yeah.
I think
We'll have our team follow up with you with the exact date. Yeah. Okay, we can do one-on-ones, and folks here are available as well. And my colleague, I'm sure, would be able to speak to folks in Spanish in addition to English. So thank you all very much for being here. We gotta take a photo. Everyone leave.